welcome to Week and Geek, your new comics preview for November 21st. I'm Mike Ortiz.
I'm the Chris Brown.
What do you got?
Well, I'm going to lead off here with an odd one. You certainly thought it was odd when you looked at my stack. I've got The Adventures of Augusta Wind, #1 by IDW. This is written by J.M. DeMatteis. This is filling the void that Abadazad left for me. He did this great fantasy sort of deal. It was almost, it very much had a Wizard of Oz kind of vibe to it. A little girl going to a fantasy land kind of thing. And, it ended up getting canceled. CrossGen ended up getting, bought out by other people. And Disney pretty much bought it up just so that they could have Abadazad. Mm-hmm. And then they didn't know what to do with it. They tried publishing these books and didn't do anything. So I'm hoping this sort of fills that void there. This is a different artist than was on Abadazad. This is Vasilis Gogzilis. I hate to butcher that, and I'm sure I did. I'm sure it doesn't actually sound a lot like Godzilla when you're not a punky white man. Stuff. It is a very Sam Keefy kind of style, a little bit sketchier than that. I mean, his backgrounds very much look that way. The faces look a little different, his layouts and such. But I'm excited about this book. I'm hoping that it is what I am hoping it is.
Hope. He's a good writer.
He really is, and he does. He serves well in that sort of playground, in that kind of little fantasy fun playground. Then I'm looking at Captain America #1. This is Captain America Now by Rick Remender. It's got art by John Romita and Klaus Janson. That is very much. Are we not calling him John Romita Jr. anymore?
Yeah, I guess he's dropped the Junior.
He's just taking his dad's name? Because he is not John Romita.
No.
But whatever. It still looks good. It's kind of a mild reboot for Captain America, I guess. Mm-hmm. As all these are, sort of mild reboots. Yeah. They're not ignoring what came in previous. Yeah.
That is the technical term.
So you can kind of just jump right in.
Right. You don't have to have read anything before.
But it looks good. I was liking Captain America before. I want to try him out in the Marvel now. Then we've got Daredevil #20. This is written by Mark Waid with art by Chris Samney. Great stuff. I mean, we've been talking about this one since the beginning. Yeah. The art's great. It's got a real nice vibe to it. It's Daredevil's having a little bit more fun again. It's not as dark, but it's still dark. And the art really serves it well. Great stuff. You should be reading Daredevil. Then I'm looking at this one has been really, really late.
Yeah.
Frankenstein Alive #2 by IDW. This is written by Steve Niles with art by Bernie Wrightson. I'm reading this because it's Frankenstein by Bernie Wrightson.
Right.
Steve Niles is fine.
And if you look at the artwork, you can understand why it's late. This is beautiful work.
And I don't believe it's inked. This is all straight pencils, correct? I mean, well, maybe a little ink in there, but...
it actually looks like it's kind of a painted wash, almost.
Yeah, it looks... oh, my God, look at that. Yeah. His stuff is unmatched. I think Bernie Wrightson's art, his monsters, no one touches monsters the way he does. I mean, just beautiful stuff. Looks freaking great. It's got this really nice black and white kind of quality to it. Good stuff. I'm excited that one finally came out. Then I'm looking at Judge Dredd #1, published by IDW. This is written by Dwayne Straczynski and who's the artist? Nelson Daniel. I don't know. I'm not a huge Judge Dredd fan. I've never read a lot of Judge Dredd. I've probably read about 4 or 5 Judge Dredd stories, and they were all the Chopper Saga stuff. I think that stuff was really, really strong, really interesting stuff. But I'm willing to give Judge Dredd a try. I like what IDW's been doing lately. Yeah. I think they've been doing some fun stuff, some good stuff. They've been taking these licenses and really handling them well. So I want to see what a Judge Dredd comic's like.
Yeah, interesting. Excited
about it. Then I've got Indestructible Hulk #1. This is another Marvel Now. This is Mark Waid and Lionel Yu. This is Indestructible Hulk, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't entirely know how I feel about what they're doing with the Hulk here, but I've always got to check in with the Hulk from time to time because I really like the character. I think he's a great, fun character when written well. I haven't loved a lot of the stuff they've done with him lately, but I'm going to give this one a try every time.
It is Mark Waid.
Yep.
And Lionel Yu.
So I'm
really talented guys.
Willing to give it a go. Then I've got The Legend of Oz, Wicked West #2. This is the ongoing series. I was talking a lot about that miniseries when that was going. This is just some really great, strong stuff. I think Tom Hutchison's a really good writer. He's doing some really fun stuff with this book. The art's pretty good. The interior stuff is nice. Looks really, really good. A lot of independent books. The coloring loses me on a lot of indie creator-owned sort of stuff. These are nice comic books. Yeah. Color looks great. The art looks great. Good stuff. Should be checking that out and go pick up that miniseries if you hadn't already read that. Then I've got Mind the Gap #6. It's another one of those Image books that I'm really liking. This is kind of a strange sort of mystery. Some things are going on with this family, and then our main character, is also, Elle. She's in some kind of coma. Her mind is sort of roaming, and she's trying to figure out what's going on, but we don't really know what's going on yet. Looks like we've got some other girls going on here. I think I'm an issue behind, so maybe there was another girl that ended up. Looks like they're dealing with another family here now. So I'll have to get caught up and see where that's going. But it's been a really, really cool book. Revival number 5, another Image book. This is Tim Seeley and Mike Norton. This is a cool book. Obviously there's some kind of alien thing going on. There's other things, but it begins with just sort of a rural mystery about a number of people died and came back to life. Mm-hmm. Why? Some of them are going crazy. Some of them aren't. But what's happening? One, our police detective character, her sister was killed. She was kind of keeping that a secret until it happened a second time, and she comes back, and well, what the hell's going on? She doesn't really want to talk about what happened, but clearly there's a mystery there with how it was that she was killed in the first place and why. There's some kind of alien thing going on. That's got to have something to do with why people are resurrecting. It's a really, really cool story that's building some nice characters and has a strange little mystery going. Then looking at Clone number 1. This is another one by Image Comics. This one is, this one doesn't really have anything to do with Robert Kirkman other than Skybound is publishing this. And I'm curious, he's got some good stuff going and some interesting things. They've been hyping the heck out of it. It looks like art by Juan Jose Rip. He was doing a lot of stuff for Avatar before. His artwork looks good.
Good detailed artwork. Yeah,
really good stuff. Looks a little strange there. But I'm willing to give it a try. It's Image number 1, and they were hyping the heck out of it. So let's give it a go. Then Exo Manowar number 7. Love this book. He's still fighting Ninjak. Stuff's going on with the Vine. We're starting to get somewhere. As I've mentioned, this has this deconstructionist storytelling, so it's taking its time, but it's good. It's really, really good. I love. We were talking about before we started rolling. We were talking about the Valiant stuff. And, we were kind of discussing how, the big two finds that it's always better to sell more books by being inflammatory on the internet. Maybe Valiant should get everybody to hate them, and in turn they would love them. But as it is right now, everybody who is buying the book loves them. They're just not complaining about it on the internet.
Right.
So here we are, giving it accolades on the internet. Pick up your Valiant stuff. Pick up your Exo Manowar. Good stuff. Maybe I shouldn't be giving it accolades. Maybe I won't sell as well.
These guys are jerks. They hate us, and they're ruining my childhood.
They're ruining my teen years by making comics that were just as good as when I didn't have as good a taste as a teenager. Jerks. So that takes me through the bulk of my stack. What are you looking at?
I'm going to start off with Wolverine and the X-Men. This is continuing adventures at the Jean Grey Academy. It looks like we've got, some sort of weird Frankenstein circus comes to town.
Sweet.
Weird stuff there. Storm is now has joined as a teacher at the academy. We've got this weird kind of Frankenstein guy, and we've got a circus going on, and they're basically kind of looking for all the new mutants that are popping up after Avengers vs. X-Men has sort of brought the mutant population back. And it actually looks like there's a bit of an homage to an old Byrne and Claremont X-Men when they were mind-controlled in a circus. This is the beginning of some new stuff, and we'll see where it goes.
Cool.
Next up, Ultimate Spider-Man. This one is I guess, got the Ultimate Spider-Woman in here, which is the female clone of Peter Parker. I guess there is a connection between her and Miles, because there was actually a connection between Peter and Miles. They were both kind of the spiders that bit them were both from the same experiment batch. This has been a great book. The shift in character, the shift in tone has really given it a new life. This is not, if you got tired of the Ultimate Spider-Man before, the Peter Parker version, give this a shot, because it's actually a very, very different book, and I actually like it a lot.
Cool.
Next up, Unwritten. I finally got caught up on Unwritten.
Oh, all right.
And Tommy, they had jumped a year in the future, and then they jumped back for a second to fill in the gaps, and then they kind of jumped back to the future again. So, the world has changed a lot, and I think, of course, the character Lizzie had died, and Tommy has gone into the land of the dead, which, of course, is populated by a lot of strange fantasy creatures, and we've got a unicorn, and a rabbit in armor, and Baron Munchausen.
Awesome.
So yeah, he's the land of the imagination, land of the dead. He's going to try and rescue his lady love. But yeah, great stuff. Really, really smart book. We've been talking about this one forever also. Next up, Justice League. It looks like we've got Superman is turned into some sort of a were-cheetah by Cheetah last issue. I don't know about that. Kind of Superman is a cat.
Super were-cheetah.
The rest of the Justice League are going to have to bring him down.
Doesn't he make out with Wonder Woman again?
Yeah, he makes out with Wonder Woman again. So he made out with Wonder Woman, then he turned into a cat, and then he made out with Wonder Woman again. But yeah, this is supposedly all leading into the big Trinity War storyline that's going to be running through the DC books. So we got Jeff Johns continues to write it. We've got Tony Daniel on the artwork. Actually,
that looks pretty good.
This Tony Daniel looks a bit different than what he was doing on the Batman books. So he's kind of adapting his style for the book that he's on. This is really solid stuff before Ivan Reis moves over to the book from Aquaman as Jim Lee moves on to, Superman with Man of Steel with Scott Snyder. Next up, we've got Hellblazer. The news broke about Hellblazer. We've got 3 issues until issue 300, the end of this book, the longest running Vertigo book, really the longest running mainstream comic, or at least the highest numbered unbroken mainstream comic. This is, I believe, the conclusion to at least it's part 5 of Constantine looking for his nephew. We found out that maybe his nephew isn't messed up and involved, or he's involved, but he might not be the villain and serial killer that everybody thought. There's some more going on here. Constantine realizes maybe the curse of the Constantines is not real, and maybe the reason his life is messed up is because he messed it up himself. I don't know. It's actually a really good book. I'm wondering if what's weird is you've got this new Constantine character that looks just like John Constantine but is much younger. It's kind of like, wait a minute, are they going to kill off Constantine and make him the new Constantine? But I hope not. It's a great book. You should have been reading it all along. If you were, it wouldn't be canceled in 3 months. But I still love it.
It would have been anyway. Yeah. They didn't cancel it because of sales. They canceled it because they want to do what they want to do.
If it was selling 50,000 copies a month, they wouldn't be canceling it.
Maybe, but they aren't selling 50,000 copies a month of anything, are they?
Well, that's where the Swamp Thing stuff is.
Oh,
just
okay.
or maybe 40 or so.
Right.
But yeah. I mean, this book, I'm glad they're letting it at least go to 300 and hit that kind of milestone. But it probably wasn't long for this world as soon as John Constantine popped up back in Brightest Day.
Right.
Next up is Hawkeye number 4. This book's been a lot of fun. The one and done issues. We've got a VHS tape on the cover. Never thought you'd see one of those on the cover of a comic book. Apparently,
not anymore.
There's something big on this tape, something important on this tape. Whatever it is, it obviously is something that happened a long time ago because I don't think anybody even has a VHS recorder or camera.
So the whole issue, they're trying to find a VCR.
Yes, they can't find a VCR. They're looking on eBay, but they keep getting outbid. But Matt Fraction's been doing a great job on this book. This is totally different than the Matt Fraction you get elsewhere. This is small, one and done. What happens to Hawkeye when he's not being an Avenger? This doesn't have David Aja. This has got
who's that?
Javier Pulido.
Javier Pulido, okay.
Very similar style, a little bit more cartoony, but
looks good though. I like it.
It's good stuff. And this has really been kind of a breakout, very unusual, unique book at Marvel. Next up, Green Lantern: New Guardians. Of the Green Lantern books, after the main book, this has actually become my favorite.
Really?
It's the one that actually there's a lot of sort of forward momentum on. They've realized that the only way to defeat the Guardians is by combining all of these different lanterns. Okay. And Kyle is the only one who is able to manipulate all of the different lantern spectrums. So he was taught how to use the Violet stuff. In the last issue, he was taught how to harness the power of rage. In this issue, at the end, he's dealing with Arkillo, and he's going to be taught how to harness the power of fear. So by the end, he's going to be his own one-man Rainbow Lantern. Really interesting direction. So I think it's a lot of fun. Next up, Deadpool number 2. This is a Marvel Now book.
I like that first issue.
First issue was a lot of fun. A rogue S.H.I.E.L.D. agent has resurrected dead presidents who have decided to destroy this country and rebuild it. They had Captain America taking out the undead Harry Truman, and that was a PR nightmare.
Yes.
So S.H.I.E.L.D. realized they can't have their good guys killing presidents.
Was Harry Truman the first one that declared, or asks rather, who vetoed the sleep of Harry S. Truman?
So they decided they can't have the standard heroes going around beating the crap out of our most venerated public officials. So they hired Deadpool to do it because no one cares. It's really been a lot of fun. Brian Posehn and was it Jerry Duggan are both great comedian, or Posehn's at least a comedian.
Yeah.
I don't know if Duggan does that as well.
I don't know the other guy's background.
It's a funny book. If you're not a fan of Deadpool, you might still give this a try. He doesn't break the fourth wall. He doesn't do all kind of the normal Deadpool stuff. Great artwork by Tony Moore, who really knows how to draw gore and has some experience drawing the undead. I wonder where he may have gotten that from. So yeah, it looks like we've got the ghost of Ben Franklin, and
I think they had Zombie Taft stuck in a bathtub last time. Like,
we've got Zombie Washington, Zombie Reagan. Actually, in the last issue, Zombie Lincoln shot someone in the back of the head and said he always wanted to try that. So this has really been a lot of fun. Really enjoying what they're doing with that. Next up, Amazing Spider-Man 698. This is the one that Dan Slott has been talking about, saying this is it. This is the big deal. This is the beginning of the new status quo that takes us up to Spider-Man 700 and the Superior Spider-Man. We know that Dr. Octopus learns Spider-Man's secret identity, which I thought nobody was allowed to do because of Doctor Strange's spell. I don't know. But yeah, big changes here that will change everything for a little while. And then it'll change back by the time the next Spider-Man movie.
Big changes, but I urge you to do this. Don't listen to Dan Slott. Tell him to just shut up. Because when you read that book, it's a decent plot point, but in all things are going to change. There's no way this is going to hold. I read this issue because he's been hyping the hell out of it. I mean, I don't know that it was ever going to meet the hype. I mean, the way Dan Slott's hype machine was working. But I don't know. It's a decent plot point, but it didn't make me go, oh my God. It made me go, really, Dan?
Yeah. It's
a decent plot point. But he's got to tread lightly with all of this.
It's a twist that has been done before, various times.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now Stan Lee and Jack Kirby did this in a Fantastic Four.
Yeah, it didn't blow me away. I mean, and it's going to have to go back to the old status quo at some point. There's no way this is the new status quo for perpetuity. It's a decent plot point that should have just been allowed to happen. Just do it. Just tell your story. Don't hype the hell out of it. But as we talked about, if nerds aren't complaining on the internet, they're not selling as many comic books.
So that's.
So having said that, the people that are buying into the hype want to check out the hype. The people that are listening to me go are going to want to know why I'm
right.
So either way,
it worked. Whether or not it's
and I like Dan Slott, and it's a decent plot point. It's a decent plot point. It really is. But it should have been allowed to just happen.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
No, they don't.
No. So yeah, this is the beginning of something big that will eventually not stick around.
All I'm going to say is the title of the new the new book is a huge hint. Like the minute I saw what happened, I was like, oh, all right, yeah, of course. It's a huge hint. So
that's pretty much the bulk of my stack.
All right, well, it'll take me to the top of mine here. No surprises. I'm looking at Harbinger number 6. This one's titled Rise of the Renegades. The first story arc ended with the last issue. We saw the bleeding monk walking away. We don't know what's going on with him. Of course, Zephyr makes the comment that we're going to need some costumes. Looks like she's got some costume here. I think this book is awesome. It's a really nice approach at the superhero thing. It's a nice way to introduce sort of the more superheroic capes and tights kind of thing to the Valiant universe, because they were never capes and tights anyway.
Right. And
it's sort of just, again, the capes and tights aspect is just because Zephyr likes those things. So she wants them to wear costumes. Mm-hmm. I like that. I'm really curious to see where it's going to go. This obviously is starting the next story arc, so it's probably going to slow down a little bit. We're going to see what Pete's doing, see how he gets with Zephyr, or maybe get introduced to some other characters and then go forward. Well, Chris is in it. I don't know if she is still brainwashed or how that's going to go on, but she is supposed to join the team. So, I don't know. If you're not reading Harbinger, if you're not reading the Valiant stuff, I don't know why. You should be. Pick that stuff up. It's good comic books. And, they are not telling you that it's the next big thing that's going to blow your mind. But it just might, because they're being polite about it.
That should be the tagline. Valiant. We're very polite. My top pick is Comeback from Image Comics. It's written by Ed Brisson, illustrated by Michael Walsh, and colored by Jordy Belair. Actually, Jordy Bros.
It's kind of David Aja kind of look to the art.
I had very little idea of what this book was. I read the solicitation. It's basically a group that goes back in time and fixes things for you, something
Pretty
like
much.
that.
If you were to die and your family doesn't want that to happen, obviously, they pay a firm, a company, to go back in time and get you, keep everything the way it was, pull you away for a few days so that everything can go down the way it does, and you escape with your family to a new life.
Interesting.
It has very much a Looper kind of feel to it, to me. But I liked it. I read it on PDF last week. Image sent me a preview. I didn't do it the wrong way.
I haven't sort of tried a new Image #1 for a while. I think I was due. It says a really nice cover. Really interesting idea. I like time travel stories until they usually fall apart and make me angry. But until they do, I like it. I always try. I always want to find those time travel stories where the time travel actually works out. It hasn't worked very well since like Bill and Ted.
Right.
It's like the only time that I actually left a time travel story going, I think that worked. So maybe this will pay off. Maybe it won't. I don't know, but I'm going to give it a shot because it's something a little new. I haven't tried that in a while. It's got some really nice artwork, great colors. It's got a David Aja, David Mazzucchelli kind of look. And it just seemed like kind of an interesting thing in a week where most of what I was looking at was kind of rehash and retread. So I'll give Image a shot because they've been delivering, especially on these kind of sci-fi stories.
It's cool. I liked it. So, I was surprised by how much I liked it.
And actually, when I haven't read it yet, but I'm looking forward to it now, and certainly it's the thing that sort of piqued my interest most out of all the stuff I've got this week.
Awesome. I'm trying to think. There was something else I think I wanted to mention here. What was it? I'm trying to... Oh, we've got the Spawn book this week. I kind of wanted to mention that. Sort of an interesting gimmick. You know, I mean, obviously in the last election, Obama appeared on the cover of everything.
Right.
And this month's Spawn, it's kind of a neat idea. There's 2 different issues. They both end differently. So if Obama wins the upcoming election, it's going to go one way. If Romney wins the upcoming election, oh wait, the book's late and Spawn and Todd McFarlane are jackasses. So we've got this book. If Romney wins, something's going to go in this. Who the hell's going to buy that book now that the election's over? I hate Todd McFarlane. Yeah, I said it. Jackass. But you've got 2 different things, and you can see what might have happened had, you know...
You see the alternate universe where Romney almost won.
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it ends up being exactly as Joss Whedon predicted.
Yeah.
But having said that, you know, that is...
We also have the sketch, the white cover Captain America for the Marvel Now. So yeah, if you like your sketch, your blank covers for sketches for conventions.
Is that the only one that had it? Yeah, we didn't do one for Indestructible Hulk. So
no, just that. Hawkeye is mostly white, so you can get a sketch on that, but you'll have to use a Sharpie because it's regular glossy paper.
Have somebody draw you a VCR and the tape going in. That'd be great. So with that, that is your Week in Geek.